So, let's brief introduce yourself in 2 or 3 sentences, please. Let's start with Paul.
Hi there. I'm Paul Yang from ToneFlow, a small music company. I'm doing data protection and user privacy things with the customers' artifacts, like recording files, like songs and lyrics files. Yep.
Thank you.
By using OpenSSL.
I am Nicola Tuveri. I am a doctoral researcher at Tampere University in Finland. I'm the same guy that was in the panel before the last one.
I'm Dmitry Belyavskiy. My very short bio is I have a Stockholm syndrome with OpenSSL. I maintain OpenSSL at Red Hat.
Hi, I'm Aditya Koranga, and I work as a security architect in a company in Singapore called PQ Station. And I am a tech vice chair of another alliance, that is Post-Quantum Cryptography Alliance, where we are working on the development of PQC algorithms. Thanks.
Thank you, guys. And we would also like to acknowledge the other tech members who couldn't join us in person today, but remain active participants. It's our committers representative, Shane Lontis, and large businesses representative, Craig Lorenzen. So, let's begin with our first question. What have you done together since you were elected? It's not a long time ago, but please, who wants to start? Nicola?
No.
Paul? Okay.
Actually, 2 weeks ago, we just organized a very successful offline meetup in Hong Kong. And I said that was a kind of successful is because there are around 100 people, either online or offline, to attend that meeting there. Yeah, and we have several speakers there in the meeting room to introduce a lot of interesting topics between PQC and the Web3 things there. And we also invited so that guy's name is called JP Almerson. Do you guys know JP Almerson? He's a co-author for many different cryptography algorithms there online, have a presentation there. So that was my biggest thing I've done during the last several months for the small businesses community.
Thank you. Nicola?
I think individually as a tech, as a tech representative, I think, well, we haven't been seated in the TAC for a long time. So mostly I've been trying to engage with the academics community and doing poorly at it. So one of the opportunities of the OpenSSL conference for me is to try and engage more with the academics that are around here and try to get them on board the OpenSSL community's platform so that we can voice their point of view to the corporation when it comes to technical matters.
Thank you.
Well, I unfortunately can't boast with any reasonable results in the community communication, but I hope that my participation in a regular TAC activity is reasonable, and we had a great BACTAC combined meeting just before the conference. Many thanks for organizing it. It was productive, and it gave, it brought a lot of outcome, and it put some things in my head to proper places.
Okay.
Yeah, so as a tech, the first thing was to figure out what tech has to do. I took a lot of time in understanding that. And since we say that back is taking care of the what part, right? And we are taking care of the how part. So for a very long time, there was no what part, so we were trying to find. And for that, I tried to engage with the community. I did normal messages, did a survey. What are your feedbacks? What is going well? What is not going well? And I've got a good response, especially for the first time. And that survey results would be out maybe in some time. But we have now realized a good part, what are the initial things that we need to do. And the second thing is learning from the other tech members. I think the large businesses are doing pretty good with their tech roles, doing more engagement meetings. So yeah, those things are more important is what now we will do. Yeah? Thanks.
Okay, thank you for sharing. And let's continue with a follow-up topic. What do you plan to achieve before the end of your term? Aditya, please go ahead.
Yeah, so the main thing is like represent the community, whatever the problem that community is facing. It's like my face would be to the overall OpenSSL community. So trying to solve their problem. Recently there was some, we did like escalation strategy that we wanted to do in a way that all the problems get fixed, you know, and do more engagement. And we are thinking to host like individual and small businesses offline meetings also. And I think one of the things that we can do is organizing regular online meetings also, trying to figure out what they want and how to solve them.
Okay, thank you.
I would like to get the distro community more alive. Yeah, thanks. We probably will have a meetup tomorrow organized by distro bug representative, and I hope we finally will see each other, and I will find out why they don't react to the polls. We are in the process of forming the advisory committees, basically. Yeah, it's a first attempt. We don't exactly know the scope. We don't exactly what should be done. So I think that this first term, the best possible outcome will be the scoping of the task. So the next term, the next representatives would understand the situation better. And I still would like to organize a place where problems will be discussed in technical details, not at the advisory high level.
Thank you.
I have a very similar answer to what Dmitry just said. So I do think that the most important thing for this first term of existence of the TAC is for the current TAC representatives to structure it in a way that it can actually answer the questions it was created for. I think we have, at least I have personally struggled with the fact that the TACs in a way took the mantle of a previous governance body that was the OpenSSL Technical Committee, but they had very different missions, and sometimes it's hard to get unstuck from the previous way of thinking as an OpenSSL Technical Committee member and switching gears and thinking, I'm not here just to share my expertise and my personal point of view as an academic, but I'm here to try and engage the academics, even the ones that are not cryptographers, are not deeply technical on how the code is written, but that do have very important, very valuable for the project point of views on the technical matters from their completely different perspectives. So it can be academics that are involved in societal matters. It can be academics that work on like privacy tools, but not on the technology to achieve it, but just how to make them usable, put them in the hands of users and of particular categories of users. And all those voices have so far struggled to be represented in the governance of the OpenSSL project, and the TAC is a perfect venue to collect also their point of view and make the overall project richer by it. So that's personally my goal for this first term, trying to engage more diverse and plural voices from the academics and bring that contribution to the table whenever OpenSSL has to take the technical decisions.
Thank you. That's actually the main point of the technical advisory committee and also the business advisory committee, to get the feedback from the broad communities. Thank you for sharing. Paul, go ahead.
I kind of agree with what Aditya said just now. For me, I'm always considering the most important, maybe one of the most important thing in a community is the people. So my goal is to have more people in the small business community get engaged there by meeting them offline, face to face, to hear from them what they need for this project instead of just texting their online behind the computer. So I consider face-to-face meeting is really important. So maybe in the following 1 or 2 years, I will going to work on that kind of things to organize some offline meeting there.
Great.
And I would like to add one thing. So I agree with what Nicola said. And when you're representing a community, then you need to be very sure that you are taking decisions beyond your personal views, you know, because as a personal views, you could be wrong so many times. That is what the main idea of community. You are discussing the idea with the community members, realizing the fact beyond my personal views, these are of more importance for my community, right? And I think as a tag, we need to think beyond just committing and reviewing. You know, as a tag, you should be responsible for far more things. What are the things that are working for my community, you know? What, let's say, if there's a major changes on this open source library, then what effect will it have for my sub-community, you know? And if you're trying to remove some of the features or some part of your code, then what effect will have to my community, and then discuss and bring those ideas to the tech level community meetings, and then discuss, okay, my communities think this about this feature, you know. That way we will have a more broader idea of what needs to be done, you know, and hopefully we can make the best decisions, you know. And it's not should be like the decision should not be led by the, let's say, only the large businesses, what usually happens in other community also. And the good thing that I like is now we are open to accepting the ideas from all the groups, whether it's individuals, academics, large businesses and small businesses.
I agree with Aditya, but I have a question that I raised several times. Yeah, did we properly identify our communities? Yeah, because, well, are there any other communities that have more specific interests as a community, but we don't recognize them as a community? Is the distro community, for example, alive? Yeah, is individual community a community or just a bunch of people, and so on and so forth? So probably we should consider what is the set of the communities we are going to work with.
Maybe this is a good point to try and ask the audience what they think about the current composition of the tax, the current activities of the tax. What would you want in the tax to change? How could we better represent this, and how we could structure the next term of the tax so that it better serves our communities?
Thank you, Nicola. It was my follow-up question. Thank you for it. Do you have any ideas, thoughts? Do we have some from the audience? Maybe not really.
I'm not audience, but I have more provocative question to the audience.
Okay, go ahead.
Does the presence of, does the existence of tag matters for you? Does it help you? Does it create problems? Do you see us at all?
We can see you. You are over here.
Well, we can see you, but we can't hear you. I mean, one of the things that I see as a problem is we have two tags, we have two backs, but we only have one individual, say, for example. I'm just an individual. Whom should I be approaching if I have questions? Foundation, business, or just the person that I like best? And the same question is for all our communities. How does that work? How does the cooperation work there? And maybe as another more provocative question, as a goal, could you envision creating for yourself the vision of explaining how you are delivering what the previous OTC did? For me, the OTC was a place of last resort. I knew decisions were made there. I could rely on decisions to be made there. How does it work now?
So I think for the first question that you had, like, who do I approach? I think the answer to that is actually simpler, in the sense that as a member of the individuals or the academics or whatever community, you don't really need to care about, I have to contact my foundation representative in the TAC or the corporation representative in the TAC. You just start a discussion in the OpenSSL communities platform. There is one forum for individuals, one forum for academics, and one for every other community. You start the discussion there, and then both the foundation and the corporation representatives for the TAC will bring those concerns that emerged in a discussion in the forum of each community when the BAC meets to discuss things and advise the governance. And I don't remember anymore what the second question was. OTC. I have a strong opinion on that, but one that is not shared. And my strong opinion is that we should clearly state that the TAC has almost nothing to do with what used to be OTC. The missions are very different. In the TAC, we bring the voices of our community, not our own expertise like we did in the OTC. That doesn't mean that there isn't, in some cases, a need for something that is more similar to the OTC, but I think if that needs to exist, and maybe that's something that you want to raise in the TAC so that we advise the project to find a solution for that problem, but it should be a very separate body with a very different mission statement.
I also was an OTC member. I still miss OTC discussions. But yes, TAC is different, and OTC and what OTC was dealing with should be done in a different manner. We have security responsive team, which is separate from OTC. We should use practice of publishing the design for community discussion. We did not do it in OTC time really, and now I see at least two publications, one from Victor about, well, some X509 fields, right? And recent publication from Richard Levitte about big number design. Yeah, they both were published, and they both caused community discussion, much more broader with well, those people from OTC who had their concerns raised them, but people from the other communities was also able to express their position and what should be done in future. And I think we should use sort of special interest groups in case of separate projects which is of interest for several communities. Just at home.
Well, I think most of the back and tag members were part of OTC before. So, I mean, no.
I was not in the OTC.
Oh, okay, sorry, yeah. So, my bad. So, like, I don't have a very great history with OpenSSL, you know, when in terms of committing and how the things were done at OTC. But I'm coming from, like, different community, you know. And when we talk about different community, usually what happens in TAC is talking about, let's say I did a small poll in the small business community also. I am a part of foundation team, and there was a poll regarding PQC, you know, what exactly small businesses are doing in PQC. Do they even care about this? Because the feature is there, but are they making any utilization out of it? So the first idea that came out of the survey, the poll result was they don't really care that much. I mean, a few percentage of people are talking about those things, but they are relying on the large businesses, their platforms, to do the migration, and then we will sit and utilize that, you know. So that type of thinking and that type of idea, like what is your perspective as a community, is more like what needs to be done at the tech. Yeah?
Okay.
So one point of my understanding between the OTC and the non-TSS difference, if I understand correctly, the old OTC, the responsibility is to make decision, and the non-TSC is something like advisory, right? So do you guys agree with me?
Yeah, I think you got it correctly. Yeah, because yeah, it's really the purpose to give the advice to the board of the corporation and of the foundation, and the decision will be made later with them. But it's really about the cooperation, and the feedback is the most precious thing, as I mentioned before, because the feedback is the most valuable thing. Thank you.
Thanks. Thanks, by the way, for a really interesting discussion so far. I see one of the questions here as how can academics help OpenSSL? Just not necessarily related to the tag, but like a bit related in general about what the tag can maybe do or what OpenSSL can do. I think a big obstacle is not that people don't want to contribute, but that they don't know where to start. So it really helps to create visibility, to attend conferences that typical academics attend, and to say, hello, I'm here, I'm from OpenSSL, I care about the issues that you're discussing here, I can help you to explain how those issues can be addressed in OpenSSL, and then you don't feel as some outside person complaining, you feel as a team member who is working together with OpenSSL to fix an issue. So I'm not necessarily saying that's what the tag does or is supposed to do, but that is what academics need, somebody who is reaching out and helping.
Thank you very much for the feedback. So that's something that, for example, I do plan to do. I've doing it a little bit like informally, I think, at the conferences that, for example, I've been attending this year. But one of the things that I was thinking on after the meeting that we had last week was to try and have an even more visible role in that way, and trying to apply for like birds of feather or even like contributed talks where just I present this new organizational body within OpenSSL, present myself or my successor as one way to voice the academics' concerns and also contribute new point of views, or if this was the back and not the tack, that's a perfect place to bring forward what the academics would want the OpenSSL project to prioritize. For example, this new feature, or let's remove these old crap that nobody should be using, and we wrote so many papers about not doing crypto that way, and all these kind of things. On the tack, sometimes it's more difficult. Like it's more easy to engage, I think, on things like the what rather than how to implement things. But it's something that I do plan to do more. But thanks for the encouragement and the suggestion to do it even more. Thanks a lot.
Okay, thank you. Any other question? Okay, so let's continue. Let's move into the one of the more current and debated areas. There is a growing amount of AI-generated code review feedback. Is it useful? Dmitry, let's start with you.
Are you speaking about code or about feedback? They are useful in different sense. Yeah, well, we have a lot of tools that provide feedback, for example, from security perspective. Yeah, that said, this code is suspicious. This code is very suspicious. Yeah, and in most cases, there are 10 false positives to one case that is really problematic. AI increases this amount of code I saw the feedback from one of the tools, not AI based. Yeah, it demonstrated, well, this piece of code is problematic. Yeah, I had to write I had to extract the part of the program to demonstrate that no, the problem does not occur, and I still was not sure. Well, I hope that AI will bring some advantages from the review perspective as any other automatic tool, but I would be quite skeptical to use AI-based or AI co-authored contribution, at least at this level.
Okay, Aditya, go ahead.
Yeah, that is definitely an important discussion these days. And so I was following some of the forums regarding this, what AI contribution and reviewing process should be. So I found this, there's a one special working group in OpenSSF. This is Open Source Security Foundation. They have this AI ML working group. And in one of their recent publishment, they said that they were promoting this idea of AI contributing, and for the reviewing part, they are using this terminology called RCI. This is recursive. Recursive, continuous, and improvement. Something sort of this, in which they are basically they are saying, take care of the mess that you have created. You know, you do the. You're doing the contribution. Then what you need to do is recursive checking on what you have done, and then improve on top of it. So I think it's a basic idea. So do review again and again, continuous again. Go from like different prompts, you know, like prompt in a sense like, okay, this is you have done. Find out what the problem is. Please consider like you are the expert at it, and what you are actually doing, is it aligning with the best practices or not? So doing this like continuous communication with the prompt also. So this is what they are preaching at the moment.
Okay. Paul, what is your perspective?
Yeah, talking about AI nowadays, it's becoming more and more popular, especially in the AI assisted programming or coding there. This is very valuable for small businesses because in small companies, the development resource is usually limited. So we don't have that many people working on things like writing code from scratch. So I predict there would be more AI generated code even in OpenSSL if we consider small business as a very important contribution source in the future for this project. So review for AI generated code is very important in my opinion.
Thank you. Nicola, what is your experience?
So it's a complicated answer in my case. On one side, I do see the rise of AI slop that comes towards OpenSSL and other projects as a big problem. But I don't know how much it is a technical problem and rather a, let's say, societal or education problem. It might be that it's still the early days of AI and people tend to lose track of the fact that whatever the AI output is, you have a responsibility as the one sending it to a team of humans that is reviewing it to make sure that it is meaningful and valuable thing. So I'm not against the use of AI, but I am in favor of a more responsible use of AI. On the other hand, I also feel that sometime on the other side, when I do receive maybe there's a code submission that maybe was authored by a human, maybe it was authored by AI or co-authored by AI. If like there are tools that would allow me to use AI to do an automated review, but I'm very concerned with the ethical use of them, not necessarily in terms of environmental impact, that it's also something to be considered, but also because on the other end, because the AI summarizes this contribution or this feedback and in a way that tells me this is not really relevant, and I never read what was actually submitted in the long form extent, I am being disrespectful towards the external contributor that took the time to do a responsible use of AI and just used AI to improve their communication skill and all of that. So it's very complicated. Like I don't know where the answer is, what the correct balance is. Personally, what I try to use as my personal compass is to remember that it is fine to get help by all these AI tools and all their capabilities, as long as I remember that when eventually I use that to share it with other humans or to affect my decisions on the contribution of other humans, to remember that there are humans on the other hand, and I need to be respectful of their opinion and their efforts.
Thank you.
Well, I just remember the full form of RCI. It's recursive criticism and improvement. And also, there is actually one discussion going on in small businesses group regarding AI policy, which James initiated. And I think he has created a pretty good draft, and we are giving our reviews on top of it, like what changes need to be done, and are we accepting this idea or not, to have this AI policy for OpenSSL or not. And so far, everybody liked this idea, and hopefully we have have some specific AI policy in future.
And I think that, for example, is a very good item where we need to engage more our communities and get the wider point of view on what do you think should be in the AI policy, of how the project regulates AI assisted submissions and how the project employs AI tools for its internal processes, reviews, code practices, or testing or whatever. So I do really invite all of you in this room and all those that will see the recording afterwards to actually start engaging with all of us and your respective communities about this AI topic, because I think it is very current and it will keep being very current.
Yes, and I like this idea because many people still think, even the communities, like if one discussion is going on in a particular community, let's say small businesses, but everyone is open to promote this conversation and communication. Other communities also see what they are trying to give your idea upon. And also there's a general discussion group. If there's an idea which needs more focus of overall community, then I think that place is also a good place to have these conversations like this.
Okay. Do we have any thoughts from the audience? Michael?
Sorry, it's me again. I mean, this AI topic is one of interest to any community. Why in the world is it only happening then in small businesses? Who is responsible for moving it to a higher level? Please do.
This was actually part of the conversation that we had last week about should every single conversation always only happen in general discussion so that it reaches maximum visibility, or is there a value in having both the general discussion and, let's say, more siloed? They are still publicly visible, but only the participants, like the members of that community, get to voice. And there are good things for both things, in the sense that in the general discussion, yes, you reach major, like the maximum visibility for the topics. if the people are subscribed to the general discussion community, but that I know that is being fixed, so that's a thing. But sometime being in the general community, a discussion might be overwhelmingly biased towards one polarized point of view, because maybe members of one community are more vocal than others, and then the side discussions that would be the main discussion in the siloed smaller communities might be lost in the wider thread of discussion. So I think that there is a place to have discussions both in the general and in the communities. But I think Tim has a perspective on this. Can you get him a microphone?
So to address the direct question there, Michael, there's large companies are absolutely terrified about the implications of AI. There's a lot of conversations that have been going on here where the companies have a view, there's a lot of dispute internally in the company, but nobody's comfortable to have that discussion out in the open. And as our panelists here, the TAC members have indicated, you have to go out into those communities to get the feedback that is just not going to occur in a public environment. And I think the context in a small company environment, much less hesitant to share the issue, much more willing to be able to get feedback from other small companies. So it's not the importance of the issue, it's the environment in which people are comfortable talking about it.
Thank you, Tim. Any thoughts?
And I think it's also the tech responsibility if you're not getting so much like involvement in any of your threads, but how to fix this is the problem. We talk, okay, we have raised the thread, we didn't get any good responses, but I think this will be the case always. But we as a tech representative, we need to do something for this idea. How can we make the conversation more engaging, even if like pinging the members individually, which I sometimes do, also works. And this is, I mean, for a lot of time, I've seen like for months from the starting of Back in Tech, we have these threads, so many threads in our communities, but most of them are like dead, So it's our responsibility, and it's also our responsibility to bring some discussion, even in the general discussion, if we think that is something necessary. And yeah, part of the AI, I also saw some of the PRs regarding AI in OQS also. So I think larger community is focusing on this AI discussion and policy things.
Unfortunately, even direct pinging does not help much. And well, I can't blame people. I can't say that people are not engaged. Yeah, they're engaged, but they may have other local priorities. But I must admit, I tried to ping several representatives of distros directly and did not get any response.
Okay, thank you. We have only a few minutes, and please, Bill, last question, last thought.
I get the last one? Well, it's okay. Well, one of the things from the previous panel and this one that I think is overlapping is y'all were saying the value of the face-to-face interactions. And I want to just take a minute as somebody who, those happened in Brno a couple of times where I've attended, and I just show up and everything is just taken care of for you. So I think I'd like to take a moment to thank Katerina, and I think Daniela is not here, but thank you so much for all the arrangements that you do to make those face-to-face interactions happen. So can we have a round of applause, please?
Thank you.